Hello, Dragon's Breath. This is Rob Phillips here to give you my take on our first session of Dragon's Tales. So, how am I coping with social distancing? Well, I guess like everyone here, I've gone through a few waves. Some have been easier waves, others have been much more challenging waves. And I guess today, when I'm filming this, it's, Wednesday afternoon. And really just kind of the severity of the situation has really started to hit me. This is just the beginning. It's probably going to get a lot worse, and we're probably going to be dealing with various levels of this isolation that we've been doing for some time to come. And I don't know, I feel prepared for it, and I feel lucky in that I have my wife who lives with me, and we've been doing our best to keep sane during all of this. But just really the scope of everything has what's hit me the most over the last 24 hours or so. So how do I find calm in the midst of uncertainty? Well, thankfully, I'm employed in a field and working in an industry or a profession where I have lots and lots of opportunities to check in and to be present and to help other people be present, which honestly I'm very thankful for right now. I know not everyone has that. And I suppose for me, the biggest source of calm is having to be there, having to show up for my students, and just knowing that they need me and knowing that I can be of service with something I tend to do all the time anyway, but, in these times that seems all the more relevant than ever. So what are my best tips? Well, number one, and admittedly this is something I am not very good at, so I will totally own up to this, but getting off the internet. It's so easy to just use every free second to either check in on the news, which is depressing in its own right, or just to flat out waste time on stupid stuff that gets your mind, entertained in these short cycles, but is not fulfilling at all in the end. So that's been hard for me. I've been struggling with that just because I feel so stuck inside, and I feel like I'm having difficulty finding things to do with my otherwise unoccupied time. So definitely going to own up on that one. But in terms of more positive stuff, having fun. The other day, my wife and I built a fort out of the blankets and pillows in our living room, and we actually Skyped with our parents on it. And I don't know, it's ridiculous, but doing stuff like that, finding these outlets where you can just be silly. We've also been doing kind of dancey workout videos, or even videos from the early 2000s where people are walking and stuff, just to move, just to do something a little different. So in a weird way, that's been kind of fun. So whatever works for you, we're a little silly, we're a little ridiculous. If you want to do something a bit more conventional, whatever works for you, but make sure you have fun. Make sure you find things that serve you well. So what gives me hope? Well, I suppose honestly for me, most kind of moving thing about all of this is I don't think there's ever actually been a time in history where the entire planet has come together around a single issue. It's not a war where there's sides against each other and maybe large chunks of the world are working together. This is literally, we're all in this together. And, there's been pandemics, there's been things in the past, but I think now is the first time where there's been that communication where we've really been able to make this collective humankind thing. It's not isolated to any country. It's affecting everyone equally in their own ways. So that's given me hope to see how people have come together. And, if I want to springboard off of that, it gives me hope for the future with dealing with the environment, with dealing with all sorts of other humankind problems. This proves we can do it. If we want to, we can come together and we can make it work. So as much of a tragedy as I'm sure this will be for many people in the end, it is kind of a hopeful opportunity for us to learn skills and techniques that we can use for other big problems moving forwards. So how do I breathe when everything feels so hard? And again, I have to kind of defer to my earlier question. I have not been as good at that as I wish I was. It's funny, I was thinking back in December, I went on a meditation retreat where, I made a conscious choice and I paid money even to go and sit inside for days on end with no stimulation and nothing to do. And in many ways, I don't know, that felt easier in a way because I knew what I was supposed to do. I knew that I was there to breathe. I was there to notice and to be present. So that isn't to make it seem like there's no hope. For me, my yoga practice, for me, doing my teaching, as I said earlier as well, and just stopping every once in a while to feel the ground beneath you, feel my breath, to check in and be present, and maybe not as often as I would like, but little bits go a long, long way. And that's definitely something I'd pass on to folks as maybe a bit of wisdom to take with this is a few seconds, one breath, notice it, do what you can. And I think we could all benefit a lot from that.